They said America could never build a supercar that genuinely terrifies the Europeans. They said the Corvette would always be a muscle car pretending to play in a different league. And then Chevrolet went ahead and built the C9, and now nobody is laughing anymore. What you are about to see is not an evolution of a beloved sports car. It is a complete reimagination of what an American supercar can be, and there is one feature hiding inside this car that nobody in the automotive world saw coming. Welcome back to Premium Automotive Reviews, the channel where we tear past the surface and show you what these machines are really made of. We have covered some extraordinary cars on this channel, but today feels different. Today we are talking about a car that has the potential to permanently shift the conversation about American performance. And we are going to take you through every layer of it, including the performance numbers that made even seasoned engineers step back and take a breath. So let us start right where you are looking right now, because that front end is the first thing that tells you this is not your father's Corvette, and it is not even your older brother's C8. The C9 arrives wearing an entirely new face, one that looks like it was pulled straight from a racing prototype and then refined just enough to be road legal. The hood is longer than you expect, sculpted with deep functional channels that feed air directly into the front radiators and brake cooling ducts. There are no decorative vents here. Every opening you see on this car is doing real aerodynamic work. The headlights are a complete departure from anything Chevrolet has done before. Each unit is a full matrix LED assembly with adaptive high beam control. But what makes them genuinely striking is the way the daytime running light signature wraps around the outer corners of the bumper, creating an almost continuous glowing halo that you can identify from 200 meters away in a rear-view mirror. When this car appears in your mirrors at night, you know exactly what it is. That identity is intentional, and it is executed brilliantly. Move around the side, and the C9 rewards you with a silhouette that is simultaneously familiar and startlingly new. The mid-engine architecture that Chevrolet committed to with the C8 is here in full force, but the proportions have been stretched and sharpened. The cabin sits further back, the rear haunches are wider and more pronounced, and the carbon fiber side intakes that feed the engine bay have been redesigned into swooping aerodynamic blades that cut through the air rather than simply scooping it. The roofline drops with a purposeful fastback arc that would look at home on any racing circuit in the world. Those wheels. You noticed them immediately, and you were right to. The C9 rolls on 21-inch forged alloys at the front and 22-inch units at the rear, available in several finishes, including a striking gold machined option that complements this Amplify orange tint coat paint in a way that feels almost theatrical. The brake calipers visible through the spokes are finished in bright orange. Carbon ceramic rotors are standard on the higher trim levels, and the low-profile tires wrap around them like they were poured on. The stance is planted, wide, and absolutely confident. At the rear, Chevrolet has fitted the C9 with an active aerodynamic system that does far more than just deploy a spoiler at high speed. The entire rear diffuser assembly is variable, with articulating sections that change the car's downforce profile in real time, depending on the selected driving mode. In track mode, the rear generates significant downforce that keeps the tail glued through high-speed corners. In tour mode, it retracts to reduce drag and improve efficiency on long highway runs. And the sequential LED taillights that span the full rear width pulse in a way that is genuinely arresting when you see it in person. Now step inside, because this is where the C9 does something that no previous Corvette has ever come close to achieving. The moment you drop into the seat and pull the door closed, the cabin does not feel like a sports car interior. It feels like a command center that was dressed in the finest materials available. The seats are new generation GT racing thrones wrapped in perforated semi-aniline leather with contrast orange stitching, deeply bolstered, and fitted with 16-way electric adjustment plus heating, ventilation, and a massage function that operates even in sport mode, which is either wonderfully contradictory or perfectly American, depending on your perspective. The dashboard is built around what Chevrolet is calling the Digital Performance Hub. A dual-screen setup consisting of a fully configurable 12-inch instrument display directly ahead of the driver and a 17-inch infotainment touchscreen canted toward the driver at a precise 7-degree angle. These are not tablets glued to a dashboard. They are integrated into the architecture of the cockpit with such precision that the seams disappear. The graphics running on both screens are in a completely different class from the C8, with frame rates and resolution that make everything feel immediate and responsive. But here is what is genuinely new about the C9's interior technology. And this is the part that changes how you think about what a sports car cockpit can be. Chevrolet has integrated a vehicle learning AI system they call Corvette Intelligence into the C9's core architecture. This system monitors your driving inputs over time, learns your preferences for throttle response, steering weight, shift timing, and cornering behavior, and then creates a personalized drive profile that it applies automatically when you get in the car. It recognizes you through the key fob and adjusts 23 separate vehicle parameters to match your established preferences before you have even pressed the start button. This is not adaptive cruise control. This is the car genuinely learning who you are as a driver. The steering wheel itself is a flat-bottomed, carbon fiber-framed masterpiece wrapped in Alcantara with micro-stitched orange accents. The shift paddles are machined aluminum, and the haptic feedback buttons integrated into the spokes replace virtually every physical control that used to live on the center stack. The center console is a raised carbon fiber spine running between the two seats, housing the drive mode selector, the launch control activation, and a beautifully machined rotary dial for the active exhaust system, which deserves its own conversation entirely because the sound this car makes. Let us talk about that. The C9 is powered by an all-new flat-plane crank 5.5-liter V8 engine developing 670 horsepower in the base Stingray configuration. The ZR1 variant, which is the one that made engineers quietly proud and rivals uncomfortably silent, produces over 850 horsepower from a supercharged version of the same architecture with an electronically limited top speed of 212 miles per hour. The flat-plane crank gives the engine a screaming, high-revving character that sounds completely unlike any previous Corvette V8. And with the active exhaust in its most aggressive setting, the sound it produces at full throttle is something you feel in your chest rather than simply hear with your ears. 0 to 60 in the ZR1 arrives in 2.6 seconds. On a dry track with launch control engaged, it is a deeply physical experience. The 8-speed dual-clutch transmission that manages all of that power has been fundamentally reworked for the C9, with shift times that Chevrolet claims are among the fastest of any production car, regardless of price. The all-wheel drive system available on the higher trims adds a front electric motor that can add instant torque vectoring between the front wheels independently, giving the C9 a cornering precision that feels more like a purpose-built racing machine than a road car you can take to a weekend track day. And the magnetic ride control suspension, now in its 5th generation, reads the road surface continuously and adjusts each damper within milliseconds, allowing the car to be both genuinely comfortable on your daily commute and genuinely devastating on a track in the same afternoon without any hardware changes. Beyond the performance story, Chevrolet has thought carefully about what it means to actually live with this car. The front trunk, or frunk as it is universally called, has grown meaningfully from the C8 and can now accommodate a proper carry-on suitcase alongside a weekend bag. The cabin storage has been reorganized to provide more practical space for everyday items. Wireless charging, dual USB-C fast charging ports, and a high-speed Wi-Fi hotspot capable of connecting up to 7 devices simultaneously are all standard. Over-the-air updates mean the car you buy today will have improved software in 6 months without you ever visiting a dealer. Safety technology on the C9 includes a full suite of next-generation driver assistance systems, including a head-up display that projects speed, navigation, and performance data onto the windscreen in a way that keeps your eyes exactly where they should be, on the road. The rear camera mirror, night vision system, and 12 ultrasonic sensors working in concert with 8 cameras provide awareness that genuinely reduces the mental load of driving a car this capable in complex environments. This is a machine with serious performance credentials that also actively works to keep you out of trouble when you are not at a track. And that balance is harder to achieve than most people realize. The starting price for the 2026 Corvette C9 Stingray comes in at approximately $74,000, positioning it as one of the most remarkable performance values in the world when you consider what that money actually buys. The Z06 configuration sits around $112,000, and the full ZR1, with all available carbon packages, and the track performance package will bring you close to $140,000 in total. At every price point, the C9 makes cars costing 2 and 3 times as much look over their shoulders. This car is for the person who refuses to accept that the best performance comes from somewhere else in the world. It is for the driver who wants a machine that learns them, rewards them, and challenges them every single time they choose to engage. The 2026 Corvette C9 is not America trying to build a supercar. It is America having already built one. If this breakdown changed the way you see what Chevrolet is now capable of, hit that like button because it genuinely helps more people find content like this. Subscribe to Premium Automotive Reviews so you never miss a story this significant. And tell us in the comments, ZR1 or Z06, which one would you have? The conversation down there is always the best part.